So I'm a little bit conflicted about it because I really don't want us to go down the path of creating a politician class that their job becomes to do politics on Cardano. That doesn't solve a problem for us. But it does take a lot of time to be a member of the Constitutional Committee. It's going to take time to be a good DREP. Like there's going to be good DREPs and bad DREPs. And so, there is a non-trivial amount of time that goes into it. So right now we're all volunteers because we're passionate about Cardano, but is that sustainable? I don't know. Part of me says no. The other part goes, if we want our best people to do their best work, we need to pay for their time and effort, so, but then what is a fair price?
What's up, Hidden Nation? Welcome to Dapp Central. My name's Fareed. Here, Cardano Summit Day 1, sitting next to Adam Dean, big contributor into the Cardano ecosystem. Welcome on. How are you doing, Adam?
Oh, thanks. Doing great. It's exciting to be here out in Dubai again for this summit.
Yeah, I was definitely not expecting for them to do it here again, but it's a different venue. The food is just as great, and the experience has been off to a wonderful start.
I was worried with how good the production quality was last year. But I think they've actually managed to meet or even exceed it. The venue is beautiful. The booths look amazing. An amazing panel lineup. So yeah, just everything about it has been a great event so far.
Yeah, I'm excited leading up to the gala and then the closeout yacht party. I'm not sure if you'll be there.
Oh yeah, we're going to be on a boat. We're going on the yacht party and the gala dinner. Also looking forward to it.
Awesome. Now, this is the first time you've been here on the channel. If you could maybe just introduce yourself to the viewers here in terms of what you contribute.
Yeah, so my name's Adam Dean. I've been in Cardano since 2019, I think it was. I've been a stake pool operator, an open source contributor, a CIP editor, founded several projects, done NFTs, and a little bit of everything. So now I'm most recently working on some scaling solutions like Hydra, and being in governance, obviously, as part of the Cardano Atlantic Council and part of this whole Voltaire era that we're in.
Yeah, no, first off, thank you for all of that. But then second off, for anybody who just maybe isn't following you, I'll leave the links to everything down below. So in terms of, I believe, X, potentially Telegram, and I don't think you have a YouTube channel.
No, I do not have a YouTube channel.
Got it. But I'll leave everything down below. Again, thank you for all your contributions. And also congrats on your award last year at the summit for your contributions as well.
Yeah, thank you. I think I get to retire as the champion because they got rid of that category for the awards this year. So I think I'm the one and only CIP award winner for the Cardano Summit Awards.
No, impressive to hear. Now, let's talk business. Let's talk Cardano. That's why you're here. Maybe we start off with scaling, right? So there's been talks about Hydra, Zoa, Midgard. There's a lot of different scaling solutions. What are you most excited about and why?
So I'm excited for all of them, honestly. We need a variety of different solutions. Too often, what's the expression? When all you have is a hammer, everything becomes a nail, So luckily, what we're doing right now is really building out our decentralized toolbox. So we have Hydra if we need short-lived chains. We have things like Midgard for optimistic rollups. We got Gummy Worm coming. There's just so many of this, like this L2 ecosystem is primed to explode with Dapp specific and application specific side chains. That's really going to help level up the Cardano ecosystem to the next level.
Nice. And I think a lot of people are excited, but I think historically we have just seen that things take a lot of time to deploy. So you being a developer, having sort of a really good understanding of this, in terms of timing, when do you think Cardano really gets that scalability boost?
Well, I think it's already happening, right? Like we're starting to see it. The Hydra Doom demo is a great example that it really got people's kind of mental ideas flowing. And so we're not very far off, but we still need some tooling, right? That's one of our classic complaints on Cardano. The developer experience is not quite there. So hopefully by next year, but that maybe is a little too optimistic. We'll see. But I think with some of these teams that we have working on it, Sunday Swap Labs, Anastasia Labs, these guys are amazing. And they work fast. So like it could be a lot sooner than any of us are even expecting.
I sure hope so. Now, you just mentioned optimistic or optimism, which is, I think, a type of ZK solution. Now, Hydra is state channels. is there a preference for somebody like you? Are you more excited about one or the other? And again, where do you potentially see them being used or like deployed?
Yeah, so I'm really excited, obviously for state channels, only because I've been working in the Hydra ecosystem. Um, for me, ZK is kind of a fad. I'm not super enthusiastic about it. I know other people are, and no harm, no foul to them. But I like the public accountability and auditability. Like that's why I came to blockchain. I want a public ledger, not a hidden private ledger. That's what databases and under your mattress is for. So for me, seeing the Hydra, like imagine something like a prediction market, on a short-lived Hydra chain, like so for like Poly Markets does with the election. We could do that right now today on a Hydra on Cardano. So really, we just need to find what we want and start to deploy it. So again, I think the future is here. It's time to start seizing it and really putting it to work.
Got it. Now let's maybe pivot a little bit here. I don't want to take up too much time, but I think governance is a big piece. Congrats to you, Rick McCracken, and a few other members that have contributed here, putting together the Atlantic Council. I think there's been now 3 separate governance actions that have come out. I know one of them was sort of just like a joke about Hosky and renaming the future hard forks. But as a member, especially at such an early stage for governance, how's the experience been so far? And then maybe like what have been some of the challenges you guys have faced being a consortium or a group of, I think 7 different members?
Yeah, so we have 6 in the Cardano Atlantic Council, but we are one of the 7 interim constitutional committee members. So it's about as clear as mud. But it's been a really fascinating process. Like how do we threw this group together just this year. We had all known each other. We've got Jenny from Cardano over coffee. We got Beatrice from Norway. Mike Hornan is obviously amazing from Canada. Myself and Rick obviously go way back. And then Tiago, of course, from Brazil, who also has been with us since ITN, HTN days. And so, but how do we create this group, figure out how we vote on things, how we debate on things so that when governance actions do occur, we can make the best decision for Cardano. And so, yeah, figuring that all out together has been probably the biggest challenge of governance so far. Like you said, we've only had 3 info actions that are not really pushing us in terms of like, is this legal or ethical in terms of Cardano and the Constitution? But it definitely has gotten us to the point where, okay, we need to meet weekly, bi-weekly. How do we go about casting our votes? Because that's a whole smart contract, multi-sig solution. It's not just one guy has a key. We each have our own keys and we each vote, and every time there's an action, we have to go get our cold keys out, sign a transaction, send it back to whoever's going to submit it on chain. So there is a whole orchestration to it. But luckily we've had great support from some of the IOG Plutus guys that helped write the smart contracts. They've been great in terms of support. And then we've started writing our own scripts to help it out. So unfortunately, you don't know what you don't know until you don't know it, right? And so, but we're learning, and so far it's so good. I think after the next hard fork, the Hosky hard fork, like you said, or Chang +1, we're going to see a lot more of the meaty and important decisions being made. So right now, luckily, we have this time to learn and grow and get a lot of our tooling refined before the real work begins, which should be, I think, December we're looking at right now. So.
Yep, around the time where we'll see the Constitutional Convention taking place. Now, you mentioned something really interesting, because you guys are pioneers. Right now, if I'm not mistaken, this is all being done for completely free. A very, very big topic has been remuneration or just payments to people like you or the Atlantic Council. What are your thoughts on a topic like that?
So I'm a little bit conflicted about it, because I really don't want us to go down the path of creating a politician class that their job becomes to do politics on Cardano. That doesn't solve a problem for us, but it does take a lot of time to be a member of the Constitutional Committee. It's going to take time to be a good DREP. Like there's going to be good DREPs and bad DREPs, and so you know, there is a non-trivial amount of time that goes into it. So right now we're all volunteers because we're passionate about Cardano, but is that sustainable? I don't know. So I'm still on the fence. I'm still conflicted. Part of me says no. The other part goes, if we want our best people to do their best work, we need to pay for their time and effort, you know? So, but then what is a fair price? Like that's a whole different conversation. So, I'm solidly, undetermined at the moment.
Yeah, and again, I think what you mentioned earlier makes perfect sense. We're so early that we haven't seen the effects of paying or not paying people. But I personally definitely think that like this takes time, and just like being a stake pool operator, you should be rewarded for the efforts, especially keeping the community engaged. And so my final question for you here is about engagement. How do we get more people to delegate to DREPS, to be more vocal, or to just even participate in governance?
Well, that's been a big thing for me. Previously, like we just got we're about halfway between Chang and Chang plus one, also known as the Hosky hard fork. But we didn't even have DREPS right in September, so we've barely have gotten our DREPS registered, and so now it's the time to really say, okay, now there's a big group of really good, passionate people that you can delegate to. I didn't want to push people to delegate too early when there was maybe not enough DREPS, because that could create an outsized actor that has too much power because there wasn't enough choices. So now we have a good number of choices, and I think now is the time to explain to people, hey, look, it's not scary. You can delegate your power very easily, and then but again, we need to kind of define, what do we expect from a DREP? Like, what kind of communication? How do I know that you're voting in my best interest? And so, again, a lot of these unanswered questions, but it's kind of time to start socializing and getting the word out and rocking the vote and really saying, hey guys, let's get involved in governance. If we have 30 something billion ADA that's currently staking, hopefully we can get close to that number as well, participating in governance some way, even if that's to not participate at all and say, I always want to abstain, or I always want to have no confidence in the system. That's okay. And those voices are also valuable to the ecosystem.
And I know we're supposed to close out. I would love to have you on the channel for a more dedicated and in-depth chat about governance. But one thing that you just highlighted there, which I know has definitely come up before, has been to potentially just sort of add some sort of action to participate in governance when people are going to claim staking rewards as well, right? So again, I feel like there's a lot of room for growth here. There's been really good ideas. And even just listening to you talk about, the overpowered DREPs, those are things that never crossed my mind. But I've been asked if I'm a DREP, and I'm not yet. But that's because I'm taking the time to like look at the landscape to understand before diving headfirst. Because again, I do think that like once you have people delegating to you, it's your responsibility to make sure that you're informed, educated, and that you're voting in your delegator's best interest. So I think this is just the very beginning of an awesome conversation. Adam, I want to thank you for joining me here. Again, I'd love to extend an opportunity to have you on the channel once we're all back home. But again, just wanted to stop you and also to say thank you for a nice little gift that you brought over to me from Baggy Pants. So Baggy Pants, if you're watching this, thank you for that. Adam has delivered on that. But that said, that will do it here for us today's video. For you guys watching, if you guys want to find out more about Adam and what he's contributed to, and then just jumping into governance or even talking about scaling, I'll leave the links to all of his contact information down below. And on that note, if you've enjoyed any portion of today's chat, make sure to go ahead and smash that thumbs up. Definitely do appreciate that. And that said, if you have any questions or comments, leave those down below. And I think that's it for now. We'll see you all in the next one. Thank you so much again, Adam.
Awesome. Thank you.